Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Therapy by Craft YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. I am the maker behind Therapy by Craft, which is my channel here on YouTube where I like to talk about yarny things, mostly knitting, mostly socks. You can find me on Instagram or Ravelry as Therapy by Craft, or you can subscribe to my channel down below to stay up to date on all of my yarny content. I have so many socks to share with you today, and I'm so excited because I finished all of my Freckled Whimsy Cancer socks. So I will show you today how I had used all of that up. I have about 10 grams left, which you can see here. This is all I have left of that yarn. So I'm excited to share with you how I used up the majority of that skein. I also have 3 sock whips to share with you, as well as other, last time I talked about my difficulties with Cascade Heritage yarn and Knit Pit Strolls because it's a little too soft. And a lot of you guys agreed. And since then, I've gotten recommendations for other solid colored sock yarns, and I have 3 recommendations for you today. So I'm excited to jump right into all of that. So let's get started. I have my pile of socks here and my whips, and I can't wait to get into all of this with you. So let's start with my Cancer sock series. Last time I shared with you guys this pair of socks that I knit with the Freckled Whimsy self-striping Cancer colorway. This took up about 60 grams of yarn, and with the remaining 40 grams, I was determined to kind of use up as much of it as possible. So I was working on, I think you saw these as a whip, but I finished them. And look! Ta-da! Here, I'll scoop back so you can see it in its entirety. Oh my gosh, isn't this beautiful? This is what I'm dubbing as my Cancer burgundy socks. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy with this pair. Some details about this. I started this on September 3rd of 2025, and I finished it on September 10th. So it only took me about a week to finish these. They were so potato chippy. I just wanted to get to the stripes, and then once I was on the stripes, I wanted to finish it, and then I was like, I want to keep going. It was such an enjoyable knit. The yarn that I used is the Opal Solid in Burgundy. And I just think that it's a great maroon. Well, it's a burgundy, but it's it has just a nice deep wine color that complements this color story so well. As you can see, these are mismatched. And what I did was I took the 12 stripe repeat and I divided it into 2 so that 6 of the stripes were on the foot and 6 of the stripes were on the leg. And if you notice, I did it so that if the 6 colors was on the leg of one sock, I did it on the foot of the other sock and vice versa, so that on any one sock, you will see all 12 colors. Also, if you wear it and your cuffs are showing or your legs are showing, then you will have all 12 colors. Or if you have long pants and you're just lounging around and wearing these socks in the house, you can see all 12 colors on the foot. Genius, right? So I love that. I love that no matter how you look at the sock, you can see all 12 colors. I love that so much. I used a US 1 or a 2.25 millimeter needle on a 32-inch ChiaoGoo red lace needle to work my socks in Magic Loop. That's how I make all of my socks. So that's what I did for here. I made the cuff a little bit longer for this sock though. I did 25 rounds of 2x2 ribbing for the cuff. I did 80 rounds total for the leg. And how I calculated this was I took 80 rounds and then I subtracted 36. So each of the stripes for Freckled Whimsy takes me about like 6 rounds to do. So 6 colors times 6 stripes. Wait, no. 6 colors times 6 rows is 36 rows. I subtracted 36 from 80, and I don't know what that number is, but then I divided that by 2 so that I can split like an even number-ish before the repeats, the color repeats, and then after the color stripes. So I think it ended up being like 22 rounds or something like that before starting the self-striping colorway. I did a heel flap and turn, and with the gusset, from the gusset all the way to the toe decreases was about 75 rounds, which means I did about 20 rounds before starting the self-striping colorway, and then another 20 rounds before starting the toe decreases. You can find the details of all of that on my Ravelry projects page. Like I said, I started this September 3rd, finished it a week later on September 10th, and this took 63 grams total. This made for pair number 25 for the year. And instead of going in like chronological order, I'm going to show you what I did next with the remaining yarn. After I finished this pair, I still had some yarn left over. I had at least one more like 12 stripe repeat left in the remaining yarn. So I wanted to use it in another pair of shorty socks this time. I used another Knit Pick Stroll colorway called Prairie Heather, I think. I did a poll on Instagram to see if I should go like neutral or if I should go more purpley. And in the beginning, it was a huge lean towards the neutral colors. And so I went ahead and cast on the neutral. And then the next morning I went back and looked and everybody was like, well, not everybody. It was like a 52 to 48 of like, go with the purple. But I did not. I did not go with the purple. I went with the neutral. And this is what I ended up with. And I am so pleased with it. I am so happy that I went with the neutral. I think after seeing like all the burgundy, I really needed a break from like a red purpley color. So I'm glad that I went with the neutral instead. So for my shorty socks, I do 10 rounds of 2x2 for the cuff. Then I do 10 rounds for the leg. I do a heel flap and turn again. And just like how I did it for these burgundy socks, I did 20 rounds here before doing my self-striping colorway, and then 20 rounds before the toe decreases. You can see here that I split the colorway into 6 and 6 again, so that if I'm wearing these socks like in the house or whatever, I can see all 12 colors. And I love it. I love this so much. I'm so pleased with the fact that I was able to get 3 pairs of socks with one beautiful, can you see all 3 right there? With one beautiful self-striping colorway. Let's see if I can do a better job of holding these up. Aha. And I am just so tickled because I feel like I really made good use out of this yarn. I feel like it's such a beautiful colorway that, I don't know, I feel like I got my bang for my buck. I mean, the most bang for my buck. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I started these on September 12th. I finished them on September 18th. This is actually pair number 28 of the year. But like I said, I wanted to show all of my Cancer socks together. So I used 41 total grams of yarn for this pair. So yeah, very, very, very pleased with these. Okay. So then going back, so these were pair 25. This was pair 28. So let's talk about pairs 26 and 27. So 26, this was a whip the last episode. And I am very thankful for you guys. I'm very thankful for this podcast because it really did hold me accountable to make sure that I finished Sam's socks. This is what I'm calling the Sweet Summer Stripes socks for Sam. I used 2 Yarnable colorways. It's the June and July. I think this is the June one, which is called Cue the Confetti. Such a cute speckly yarn that is just so much fun. Is it focusing? Oh yeah, there you go. And then the next month in July was Saltwater Taffy. Yeah, Saltwater Taffy, which looked like this. And as soon as I opened the yarn, I knew that they belonged together. I mean, how sweet is that? Isn't that such a cute pairing? I love it so much. And so I went ahead and I decided like these colors are perfect for Sam. So I cast on a pair for her. I did a fraternal pair, which means that they're not identical. As you can see, Saltwater Taffy is the, I don't know, the main color. I don't know. It's the cuff color for this one. And Cue the Confetti is the cuff color for this sock. And then I alternated every 2 rounds and then used the other color for the heels and toes, as you can see here. Sam wears a US toddler size 10 right now. She's close to getting to an 11, but I kind of go with the magic numbers that I've been using before, and her socks are still fitting her. I do 10 rounds of 2x2. I cast on 56 stitches for her socks. 10 rounds of 2x2. Here I did 29 rounds and did the heel on the 30th round so as to continue with the 2x2, or not 2x2, but like the 2 round striping. For the gusset and the rest of the foot, I did 55 rounds total. Oh, it doesn't want to focus. 55 rounds total. Stop focusing on that. There we go. And then the toe. And this fits her. It fits her really well. I think she could probably fit a 48 round sock. Or 48 stitch sock, but I don't think she finds it to be very comfortable. She continues, like she has to tug on it a little bit, and if it feels a little too tight, like I like my socks to be, to have like 1 inch of negative ease, but I don't think Sam likes that very much. So I make her socks in a 56 stitch count so that it easily comes over her foot and she can easily take them off, especially when her feet are really sweaty from having run around all day. And she seems to prefer that. She does not like wearing the socks that I knit for her before with a 48 stitch count. She says it's too tight. She gets really frustrated, especially in the mornings. So I don't do that for her anymore. 56 stitches is the way that I go about it. Okay, so is there anything else I want to say about this? I started this, I don't know when. I started this sometime in the summer, I think maybe early June or early July. No, it must have been early July because I used the June and July colorways. Yeah, it had to be early July. I finished it though on September 11th. So it took me like maybe 2 months to make this, which is craziness because it should not take 2 months for me to finish a pair of child socks. But again, I didn't knit these in tandem, which is probably why I had second sock syndrome. I used a total of 38.5 grams to make her pair of socks. And you know what I was thinking too is it would be super cute if I made her a pair of socks in just this color and then also another one in just this color so that she can have a set, like she can have like a 3 sock set, right? Where one of them is all in the Saltwater Taffy, one of them is all in the confetti, and then she can have the striped pair. Like a trio of socks, like a sock trio. Wouldn't that be cute? I really think that is a great idea for somebody. For Sam, maybe, I don't know. Will I do that for her? I don't know, but that is an idea for somebody to use. Yeah, that made for pair number 26 for the year. And then the last pair that I have to show you is a DK pair of socks. I was itching to do a marled DK sock because they go by quickly. I think I also wanted the weather to turn and for it to get cooler because I'm so sick of how hot it's been. So in pulling out yarn to make a DK pair of socks, I think it was my way of just putting out there into the universe that like I'm tired of the heat and please send cooler weather, please. This pair was made using a self-striping colorway by Tiny Human Knits. I don't actually know what the colorway name is. Laura, who is the dyer behind Tiny Human Knits, she had a sale, like an Etsy sale, where I think she had some like oopsie skeins or like one-of-a-kind skeins that she was selling in a bundle for a discounted price. And I grabbed one because I love her colorways, only to find that, so this was one of them. I don't know what the name is. I don't think it has a name. But once it came in the mail, I noticed that her yarn is a 2-ply yarn, which, is such a bummer because I love the colors, but I don't like knitting with 2-ply yarns very much. It needs to at least be 3-ply. Arcane Fiberworks has a base that's 3-ply, which I'll be showing you in just a second. But I prefer to knit with 4-ply yarn. So I was like so bummed out because the colorways are so gorgeous and there's other colors that I really want to use, but I hesitated winding it up and using it because my hands like hurt for some reason when I knit with a 2-ply yarn. But I thought maybe I give it a try holding it with a neutral yarn and make it like a DK weight, and let's see how that feels. And this actually felt fine. I used a US 3 or 3.25 millimeter needle to make my DK socks, and it didn't feel bad at all. It felt okay. And so that's really exciting to me because now I can go back and use my 2-ply yarns as like a DK, like hold it with something to make a DK, and then it won't hurt my hands. Also, I have experienced in the past a little bit of pain while knitting DK socks, but this time it didn't hurt that bad. So then it also made me think, maybe I try again. Maybe the things that used to cause me pain before is not really causing me pain now. Maybe something's changed and I can try again. So yeah, that's something that I'm considering. Like I said, I used a US 3.25 millimeter needle for my DK socks. I do 48 stitches for my DK socks. I did 15 rounds of 2x2 for the cuff. I did 50 rounds for the leg. I did a heel flap and turn, and then the gusset and foot is about 55 rounds before decreasing for the toe. Like I mentioned previously, I do all of my socks on Magic Loop. And that is something I don't usually get laddering. I've done Magic Loop for such a long time that my tension is pretty good when it comes to making my socks on Magic Loop. But as I was marling this yarn, I noticed that as I kind of turn the yarn to continue knitting, it leaves like some kind of twist or something in the yarn. You can tell that there's like a divide between, the yarn. So I don't love that. You can see it here too. Do you see how there's like a bit of a line? I thought it would block out, but I think it's the way that the yarn twists when I turn my work to work the second needle. So it's not a tension issue. I think it's just the yarn. So I'm kind of not happy with that. I am tempted to learn how to knit with 9-inch circulars. Oh, I tried knitting with 9-inch circulars before and I don't love it. I feel like a little gremlins. I really don't like it. But like I said, maybe it is a time, as like the season is changing. Maybe now is a good time to try new things. I don't know. But yes. What else to say about this? I started this on September 10th, and then I finished it September 17th. So this also took me 1 week to make. And this used a total of 112 grams. And I don't know if you can tell, but I did this in reverse. So I like making my socks fraternal. So one of them, the colorway goes from cuff to toe, the other one from toe to cuff. Okay, so that's it. Those are my 4 finished objects that I wanted to share. And then I have 3 whips to share with you too. The first one is being held in my Songbird handmade project bag. It is so cute. It is very soft. I think this is a small one by Katie of A Songbird Handmade. And what I love about this zipper pouch is that it kind of like can flip inside out like this, like so that the zipper teeth don't snag the yarn as you're working with the yarn inside the pouch. So that's what I really love about this. Anyway, in here is housing a Buku Yarns colorway. Amanda from Buku Yarns, which is my local yarn store, she had like a 80s themed subscription box for a year where like there were 4 boxes that you could purchase, and it was per quarter. And each quarter you received 3 skeins of yarn. And I think I purchased 1 or 2 of her boxes. I ended up with 6 skeins of yarn. And they were all 80s themed, and it was so cute. And this one is a Guns N' Roses colorway. Yeah, it's so fun. And you know what? I need to show you the tag because that'll explain it. Hold please. I'll be right back. Here it is. It is Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction. And she had the little yarn label, like this is the album cover, and this colorway is based on the album cover. Isn't it perfect? So good. Anyway, so I am knitting a pair of socks with this colorway. I started my Christmas gift knitting, and this one is going to go to one of my brothers. So I don't think they watch my podcast, but if you guys are watching, like, surprise, this is for one of you. I guess I just won't say which brother it's going to. But this is what it's looking like so far. Oh gosh, if it'll untangle itself. There we go. Okay, I knit my socks in tandem, which, as you can see, is sometimes problematic because it gets tangled up. But here is what it's looking like. I have obviously done more on this sock than I have on this sock. But I like to do my socks in tandem because that is how I prevent myself from getting second sock syndrome. The way that sometimes I like to wind my cakes into 2, like I'll cake it and then I'll like divide it into 2. But for ones that like, where it doesn't really matter, I'll just pull from the inside of the skein and the outside of the skein and do that. So as you can see, this sock is being worked from the inside of the skein of the cake, and this sock is being worked from the outside of the cake. Is it a bit of a mess? Yes, it is. Do I care enough to do things differently? Nope. And that way, when I'm done with both of these socks, I will have like 1 cake remaining in case I want to do something else with it. What else do I want to say about this? I did 20 rounds of 2x2 for the cuff, 70 rounds for the leg. I used a contrast color for the heel. I think it is the mini skein that came with the Freckled Whimsy Christmas Club last year, the 2024 Christmas self-striping yarn. I don't know the name of it, but I think that's what it is. I didn't use much of it last year, and so I had like almost like 15 grams of it. And so that's what I'm using for the heel, the contrast color. I think it goes so well with this yarn. And the other thing I want to say about this is that because it's a gift, and when I do gift sock knitting, I like to use a sock ruler to help me figure out how much of the foot to knit. And here is how I use it. So this is a sock like snap ruler from Twice Sheared Sheep. I have a couple of these and I put them in the project bag where I'm making a gift sock. One side of it has an arrow. I don't know if you can see, but there's an arrow on one side, and that's the side that goes into your sock to measure. Oh! And it goes right to the heel of the sock. I like to tug on it just a little bit because I like to have negative ease in my socks. So it goes this way, and then you knit it to whatever size is indicated here in the ruler. So for example, if I am knitting a US men's size 8 sock, I would knit all the way until my yarn is to here, and then I would start decreasing for the toe. I love having this because all I really need to ask my family members or people that I want to knit for is like, okay, what's your shoe size? And then I use this handy dandy sock ruler to help me know how much to knit to. And then I count how many rounds that is, and I will do the same for the other sock. But yeah, this is sock whip number 1. The second sock whip that I want to share with you is another gift knit that is being housed in a little makeup bag that I got off of Amazon, I think. Yeah, I found that there's some makeup bags that I could use as project bags. So that's cool. So whenever I go thrifting or whenever I go somewhere, I always look at their makeup bags. They usually don't have a lot of like knitting project bags, but they do have like travel bags or makeup bags or whatever. And that's what I use. So this is housing another whip. I haven't gone very far on this, but it is a Yarnable yarn from August in their plush sock base. Yarnable is a monthly yarn subscription, by the way, and they have a no frills version now, which basically you just get the yarn and nothing else. And I'm so glad that they came out with that option because I don't really need the frills. I just want the yarn, and now I can have just the yarn. And this is the August 2025 colorway called All Your Eggs in One Basket. I am doing the same thing that I did with the other sock, which is that I'm pulling one from the outside of the cake and the other from the inside of the cake. And I am literally just done with the cuff for both socks. But this is a fun colorway. I really like it. And what's great is that even though her sock base is an 85-15 superwash merino nylon blend, it is still a 4-ply yarn. And so I'm very happy to knit with it. It's super soft. It still feels very like squishy and plush, as the name suggests. And I'm very excited to see how the colorway knits up. That's whip number 2. And last but certainly not least is a whip that's being held in another makeup bag. It's super cute. And this is my Arcane Fiberworks Man on the Moon socks. This pair, okay, so this is the tag, Arcane Fiberworks, Man on the Moon. This sock base is the one that's a 3-ply sock weight. sock base. So it is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend, I believe, but it is a 3-ply yarn and not a 4-ply yarn, but I can tolerate working with this base. The yarn looks like this. Very moon-y, yes. And I am using a contrast color, which is a Knit Picks Stroll colorway called Serene. This is the same color that I used for my Dodger socks previously. I don't know if I showed it. Yeah, I did. But it's the Knit Picks Stroll colorway that I used for my Dodger socks. And I've actually made the most progress on this. Ta-da! Here's what they're looking like so far. I am very pleased. I think this blue looks so good with this colorway. Don't you think? Oh my gosh. I love it so much. Here, I'll show you like this. It's so good. I love it. I love the pop of blue. I did a pop of color for the cuff here. I did a cast on round. I cast on and then I did 2 additional rounds. So to me, I count that as 3 rounds. It's a 20 round 2x2 cuff. And then I did 70 rounds for the leg before doing the heel flap and turn. I love it. I really, really like Arcane Fiber Works. I really like their base. I think they are a Canadian dyer. And so I'm very curious to know how the tariffs will impact my ability to purchase more yarn from them. But I still have a lot of Arcane Fiber Works yarn, so I am happily working through them. I really like their base. And yeah, so that's my Man on the Moon socks. And my final flip of the day. Okay. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is regarding the whole like solid color yarn. I'm so pleased that I'm not the only one who is having issues with Cascade Heritage and Knit Picks Stroll. After my video from the last episode, a lot of you guys mentioned that you guys also had problems with it too, and that it really is too soft. And yeah, I was just so glad to know that I'm not crazy, that I'm not the only one who feels that way about the yarn. And so I do have a couple of recommendations for you. And one of them was actually Lang Yarns Jawoll. Is that how you say it? Jawoll? Jawoll. And it's actually amazing and so sweet because my friend Stephanie of Edible Thoughts Makes reached out to me after my episode, my last episode, and was like, hey, welcome to your new home, first and foremost, but also have you tried using Lang Yarns, because I really think that it's a sturdier yarn. What did she say? I think she said that she hadn't used it all that much, but she still thinks it might be a good option. So she gifted me a couple of skeins of the Lang Yarns, and I want to show those to you here. She was like, why don't you pick a couple of colors, let me know, and then I'll send it over to you as a gift. So sweet. And these are the colorways that I went with. I forget what they're called. I think one of them is cedar and one of them is espresso or something like that. But isn't it so beautiful? And she's right. Like, there's something about this that feels sturdier. It is a 75 virgin wool and 25% nylon or polyamide mix. And these come in 50-gram balls. And I think on woolandcompany.com, that's the website that Stephanie had recommended to me, and they are based in Illinois, I believe. And they have so many colors. And she even picked out a color that I think is a great Dodger blue. So next year for Dodger socks, I'm planning to use this base, as long as, you know, my experience in working with this yarn is a pleasant one. I think it's about $11 per 50 grams. And it's great that it comes in a 50-gram ball if you're doing color work or something like that. I think Summer of Summerly Designs also had recommended this yarn. I just had never worked with it before. So I'm very excited to try it out. I will keep you guys posted on how that goes. 2 other yarns that I have tried and that I can vouch for. One is actually one that I showed you guys today, which is the Opal Solids. Yeah. It is a very, if you like working with opal yarns, it is a sturdy yarn and it's the same base. It's just in a solid color. I don't know why I completely forgot about that. The color selection is not as vast as, Knit Pick Stroll or Cascade Heritage or even Jewel. But there's still some there. Like they have a black, obviously. They also have other neutral colors. They have just your standard colorways. If you don't really need a wide variety of colors, or if you're not looking for a very specific kind of orange or a very specific kind of blue, then Opal Solids might be a good way to go. And then the last yarn that you could use is West Yorkshire Spinners. I have had a couple of West Yorkshire Spinners solid colors, although not a lot. And I forgot about that yarn because when I think of West Yorkshire Spinners, I think of their Christmas colorways like this. Where is it? Like this. Like they have these really fun Christmas colorways. This is called Hollyberry that I made several Christmases ago, but it is also a very sturdy yarn. I have used a solid color from West Yorkshire Spinners called Butterscotch in my Thanksgiving socks from last year. And I wore these socks all the time. And Butterscotch is what I used for the heel. And it's not pilling that poorly. Like, it's not that bad at all. Compared to my Stroll socks, where is it? This is Knit Pick Stroll. I've worn this pair 2 times. And that's already how fuzzy and soft it is. This I've worn many, 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 many times for the past year almost. And it's like about the same kind of wear, which is crazy to me. I wear my socks pretty, I'm not delicate or precious about my socks. I wear them with my Birks. I wear them around the house. I'm not precious with my socks. I throw them in the washing machine. Sometimes I throw them in the dryer. And it's still pretty good. This is still holding up pretty well. So those are the 3 yarns that I would recommend to you. Like I said, it's the Jewel, which I haven't tried, but I got that recommendation from a lot of folks. Laying Yarns Jewel. And then Opal Solids and West Yorkshire Spinners Solids as well. So have you guys used that yarn before, any of those that I just mentioned? If so, I'd love to hear your experiences with them. The only other thing that I have to share is that my September Yarnable came in, which is Shroom with the View. And I'm super excited to use this as well. I started my Yarnable subscription earlier this year, maybe around April or May. And I'm very excited to use my Yarnable yarns because the base is actually really nice. I really like the base a lot. So, but I don't know. Do you guys want to know my yarn? I don't know, my enhancements, like the yarns that come in, the new yarns that I've adopted into my stash. Is that something you're interested in? I did order a bunch of yarn recently. So yeah, let me know. I know some people don't really want to know that. I have my moments where I am interested in what people are buying, and then other times I'm like, I really could not care less. So yeah, let me know if that's something you want to hear about. If so, great. If not, I want to know that too. Anyway, thank you for joining me in today's episode. I hope you guys are having a great day so far. And if not, I hope you still have moments of peace in the midst of the chaos that is life. I will see you guys next time. And until then, happy knitting. Bye.